Welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. As you guys know, we're on the road, so we're broadcasting live today from Chicago, Illinois for our program for WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com. We also welcome those tuning in through iHeartRadio and Amazon Music. Glad you all could be with us as we've been bringing you guys Cyrus Represents on the road. We have a very special guest that's joining us today. You guys know him, of course, as Kool. I'm talking about Damon Wembley. He's one of the members of the Fat Boys, a group that made an impact not only on hip-hop, but continues to be sampled even to this day. Well, Kool is getting ready for something very special that's happening in April, and that is seeing the Fat Boys being inducted into the Hip-Hop Hall of Fame Museum. We're going to talk to him not only about the impact they've been able to have as a group, but also how even today their music continues to be able to speak to individuals, as well as, of course, about the honor that's coming up as well. Kool, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for having me, brother. I'm here for you. I'm here for the people, and I'm excited about April 4th.
Yeah, and such a big honor. So if you don't mind, let's begin there, because as I mentioned, the Fat Boys, I think, are not just known for rap music. They really have become, I think, even like I said, being sampled even to this day. People know the music. They know the impact. What has it been like for you now, Kool, to be able to see that being recognized?
Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful, and everything has its time and place. As I get older, I'm starting to realize that, because I was just saying like a year ago, I was just saying this like to people who are really close to me, that we just don't get enough credit for what we did in this particular culture. I don't put that stuff in the air, because you have so many people nowadays on the internet who want to go back and forth with you and debate with you about something that what you did. You weren't there to see the progress of Run DMC and Fat Boys and Houdini and LL and Beastie Boys and all these guys who had to put up with certain things and entities who was blocking us from doing shows and doing tours. So that's why I'm always like animate about trying to get us included with the Run DMCs and the LL Cool J's and the Beastie Boys of the world, because they hardly mention us. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So us being inducted into this National Hip Hop Museum, it's like I said, now that I look at it like everything has its time and place. And now it's my time to pretty much go on the podium and talk about this kind of stuff, And not to berate anybody, not to say, you should have had us in here a long time ago. It's just the fact that we did so much to build up the culture. Why are we always being overlooked? I don't need answers. I just want people to know it, know what I feel.
Right.
So.
Right. And Kool, you bring up an interesting point, because one of the things I do when I'm prepping for a segment like this, and it's honor I have of speaking with you, I always go back and in the archives that are available to me, and I look at old interviews, I try to find what I can. And I have to say, the Fat Boys really, in many ways, brought hip-hop more mainstream. I look at some of the interviews you all did, right, and, being able to introduce, I think, the culture to people who may not have been open to it otherwise. Is that one of the things that you see as part of the legacy of the Fat Boys?
Oh, yeah, definitely. We did so many TV shows back in the day, especially overseas, and hip-hop was just getting getting some fuel behind it. You had Run DMC, you had Flash and the Furious Five out, you had Curtis Blow, you had Soul Sonic Force, but it didn't really get that real big kickstart until Walk This Way came out and Disorderlies Crush Groove came out, and we came out with Wipeout. LL Cool J came out with Radio. Beastie Boys came out with License to Ill. Houdini came out with 5 Minutes of Funk and Friends, and Troops Come Out at Night. That's when it started to take off. So that's when we started going on this whole campaign of just being on tour performing, but introducing people to the culture of hip-hop who didn't know what it was about, but they knew their kids was listening to it. Why should my kids listen to you? Well, we're this kind of group. We don't curse. We have fun. We do all fun things that young people do, because we were young. People understand. Right. We were only like 16 or 17 when we came out, so we were still teenagers. We were relating to the young people who were taking over this hip-hop culture, who was pretty much saying, this is our music. You guys had your rock and roll, you had your blues, whatever. This is our music, So just bringing it to the masses, beyond the young people, bringing it to the feel of what, let them see what we were doing. And they fell in love with it,
Right. Right. And one way that you've been making sure that has been known, Kool Rock, is that you've been active on social media. It seems Instagram seems to be your platform that you enjoy. What has that been like for you to kind of create a catalog online yourself, of the impact and continued impact of the Fat Boys and the place in music?
Oh, people love to hear the stories. I got so many freaking stories. So sometimes I do a back in the day story episode, and I do a particular story about us meeting Michael Jackson, us meeting Prince, us going on tour, supposedly going on tour with Madonna. People love it, and the post goes on for like 3 or 4 days. People just commenting on it. So if people want to know about the Fat Boys, and they want to know about the Disco 3/Fat Boys, I always go back to the first part of who we were, which was the Disco 3 before we changed our name to Fat Boys. So they want to know about the Disco 3. They want to know about the group before we became the Fat Boys, which was 5 MCs, 1 DJ, and 1 beatbox. A lot of people don't know that. We was called the Hypnotized 5 at first, and then we cut it down to 3 people: Kool Rock, Marky D, and Buff Love. So people want to know about all these stories. So people love seeing me post different things on social media. I post music. I talk about sports a lot. I talk about politics here and there, but people love it. They want to. It's a nostalgia thing when they hear something coming from classic hip hop artists, because it takes them back to their childhood.
Right, exactly. So I want to ask you also, Kool Rock, about for yourself about legacy. You mentioned, of course, it's important for people to remember what the Fat Boys have done, and then, of course, having this honor of being inducted into the Hip Hop Museum is definitely a way to make sure that's done. What do you want, especially artists coming up, to know about? Because, like I said, I mean, people are still, sampling music from the Fat Boys. The Fat Boys is still being mentioned. What do you want them to know if they're coming through the ranks about the impact that music can have, not only on culture, but on the world?
Coming from my standpoint, or coming from just hip-hop, period?
Right, from your standpoint.
Okay. I want them to know that this music took a while to get a kickstart, because radio didn't want to play it. To be honest, radio wanted this to stop at Rapper's Delight, because they thought it was just something, somebody was just having a joke. A long-running joke with a song that lasted damn near 10 minutes, which was Rapper's Delight back in 1979. So after pretty much after Rapper's Delight, they were like, okay, are we done with this? Can we move on now with music? It was like, no, we're here. Rapper's Delight is cool, but we're here. Like, we're taking this art form seriously. So I want the young people to know we had to fight for radio play. We had to fight to get into the Coliseums, the 20,000-seat arenas. They didn't want to let us in. We had to take out extra security, extra insurance, that kind of stuff. They didn't want to they didn't know anything about the culture. All they knew, it was a bunch of young people coming to watch other young people perform. And you know how that goes. It goes back to the 50s with Elvis Presley and Fat Domino and Little Richard, where kids were going crazy. And most people didn't know how to react to this. You understand? So it's no different from that. So with hip-hop, it's like I got to tell young people, you knew a time when this music didn't exist. You knew a time when this music was always here. I knew a time when this music was never even around. So you're getting the benefits of the people that brought this to the forefront, like the Cold Crush 4, Flash and the Furious 5, Funky 4+1, Treacherous 3, Curtis Blow, Love Bug Starsky, Africa Bambaataa, and Soul Sonic Force. You're riding on the backs of those guys who put this on the map. So you always gotta do your homework anytime you're getting into something that's going to make you money. You gotta do your homework about it. So if you're getting into this culture because you want to make money, which is at the end of the day, that's what you want to do your homework. Look at the legacy of it. Look at who put this on the map. Don't just get into it and just start saying you're the best ever, because you're not. There is no best ever. Everybody puts up the different.
I think it's such an important thing. That's why I'm so glad to be able to speak with you today. Again, everyone, we've been speaking with Damon Kool Wembley. Of course, you know him from the Fat Boys, talking with them not only about the impact of the group, but also their continued legacy. And now, of course, the honor that they're having on April the 4th at the National Hip Hop Museum, being inducted into the Hall of Fame there. Really appreciate this time, Kool. Glad you could stop by the program, and looking forward to speaking with you again.
Definitely, man. Thanks for having me, bro.
Okay, glad to do it. Thank you. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live, and let's go make today amazing. Take care.